When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at Jewel International, Gordon D. Melville.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Long Bearded Guy, Gordon D. Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. Welcome to Red Fridays. Red Fridays, R-E-D, red, is remember everyone deployed. Willing to stand on a wall for us. There's so much stuff happening in the world at the moment. Whether they should be, shouldn't be, all those types of things is kind of a different conversation. But they're willing to go and stand. People are willing to go and stand in the fray for us so that we can have our lives and do and enjoy all the different freedoms that we have. So much gratitude and love for that, respect. All right. So today we are going to talk about mentorship for success, compassion for life. Mentorship for success, compassion for life. So I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I know there's people from all over the world listening today and tuning in. Some of you are going to end up in my live studio audience. Some of you are listening on your phone, on your car, or where you're traveling, whatnot. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that you're spending some of your limited resource called time with me today. It means the world to me. And so I deeply appreciate that. I appreciate the people that are reaching out, that are engaging. I appreciate that. And I want as much of that as I can get. So you know what? Invite people, share this, like it, love it, share it, subscribe. If you get into Inspired Choices Network, is an app, free app download on your phone. If you go to a smart TV, Google TV, Apple TV, whatever, you can search it just like you do with Netflix or anything else, and download for free, and you can watch there as well. If you happen to get here and you're in our chat room, there is a in the chat there is a link to get into chat room and live studio audience. So jump into that. If you've never listened to me before, never plugged in before, I am Gordon D. Melville, and I'm on a mission to positively change the lives of every man. I want to, the goal is to, well, not the goal, the jump point when we start to count is 10 million men is where we're going to start to count. And I want to do that by raising and increasing their emotional quotient. We have low emotional quotient. Most of us have low emotional quotient. So then how do we get that to go up? Because once our emotional quotient goes up, everything gets better. We have better relationships, and we're better bosses and husbands and dads and fathers and uncles and brothers, and it just gets better all the way around because we have a level of emotional intelligence. So we're going to talk about that for today. Part of what we're talking about today is a mentorship for success, and compassion for life is encapsulated inside. Because if you've listened to me at any time, you know I talk a lot about emotional quotient. They call me the king of EQ. Why? Because a lot of this stuff ties into our ability to have an emotional quotient that's higher than what it is. So I am the founder and CEO at Jewel International. There's Suzanne. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. So founder CEO at Jewel International. I refer to myself as a champion mindset mentor, and I'm a multi-award winning international best-selling author multiple times. I am an international keynote speaker, speak all over the place, and I'm a champion mindset and energy coach for a pro basketball team. I teach the 7 levels of emotional intelligence for men. That's EQ. And the people I serve primarily are entrepreneurial men and pro athletes. And at the moment, I do have a Box Inside Out group of women because I was challenged to do that. And it's been unbelievable. It's such a good group of women. I'm learning a ton. They're learning a ton. So it's been a really amazing situation for all of us. I think we're all kind of growing intentionally in that space, and it's been wonderful. So if you've got like 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, if you don't have your journal, grab your journal. You're going to want to write some of this stuff down. We're going to want to try and remember, and we just won't. Even taking good notes, humans typically can't retain more than 10% of what they hear. even with those good notes. So you want to be able to write it down so you can go back and review it later. I get people all the time to go, well, I wrote it down, but then I don't ever look back at it again. I'm like, well, why did you write it down? You have to go back and review it. I try and do it at the end of the day. Review what you wrote that day. Review the things you learned that day. It helps reinforce it. We did that in school, right? You'd learn and then you'd reinforce it. You go over it again at the end of the day to make sure that it's settled and really ingrained into you. You remember it better. So write it down, but then make sure you go back over it again at some point later. And again, if you're, I'm excited to have you here, but please, please, please share it, like it, love it, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. That helps our algorithms and have even more impact and engagement, and it helps pay for the show. So thank you so much for sharing. All right, mentorship for success, compassion for life. What does that mean? They used to say, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. Guess what that is? It's EQ. It's emotional quotient. I was asked recently on a friend's podcast, what's most important, IQ, EQ, SQ? And I laughed. I said, take SQ right off the table. Most people have no idea about EQ, let alone SQ. If you want to know what SQ is, reach out to me and I will tell you. But IQ doesn't matter. Why is if you ever watch the show House, almost none, pretty much none. Matter of fact, to the point where he could say stuff and be ignorant and wouldn't even realize he'd been ignorant because he didn't know what he said was wrong because he didn't have any awareness around his EQ and certainly no SQ. Sheldon Cooper on Big Bang Theory, exactly the same thing. Way high IQ, but zero EQ or SQ. And so, we want to talk about, what does mentorship mean? How does it differ from coaching? What's the difference between a mentor and a coach? Because a lot of us talk about coaches or talk about coaching. There's how many different ways that they're coaching? I'd written a couple down here: career coach, life coach, health coach, performance coach, leadership coach, executive coach, nutrition coach, all these different coaches, right? So what's the difference? I have it saved on my phone right here. So coaching, what does that mean? Coaching is a method in which an individual is supervised by a superior person to improve his competencies or her competencies and capabilities. Coaching is a method in which an individual is supervised by some superior person, somebody that's above them somehow. And a lot of times I think, and there's lots of different ways to coach. So, sometimes it's peer, sometimes it's somebody above you. So a coach on the basketball team, he's above the players. And so he's coaching the players. He's been there or has done or knows more, or has more experience, or whatever the deal is. He doesn't have to have executed on the same level as the players, but he needs to have a 30,000 foot view of it all and understand what's supposed to happen. And then the talent on the team executes his idea. But that would be above. But sometimes coaching is peers, right? We coach each other. And so coaching is a method. The other thing that flops into that, coaching is task oriented. Task oriented. Coaching typically is looking, we'll talk about that in another space. So I'll come back to that. So, but task oriented. So we're learning specific skills. Mentoring is an advisory process in which somebody that's new gets support and guidance from a senior person. So that tends to be, so if we boil it down, the orientation of a coach is task oriented. The orientation on mentoring is about relationship. I call myself a champion mindset mentor. Why? Because it's not coaching. Is there stuff that's around the tasks in there? Yes. But is that the focus? No, the focus is on building a relationship. But that can't happen without EQ. I have to have EQ. Coaching typically is short term because it's based around the emphasis on performance, right? On the tasks. So it's short-term orientation on a mentor's relationship. The emphasis is on career. So it's a long-term thing, not a short-term thing, right? It's got a horizon that's much longer down. So yeah, they're saying the type coaching typically is formal and mentoring typically is informal, but you can have a formal mentorship. Somebody and when I say I'm a mentor, that's what I'm talking about. I'm helping them in a formal way build that relationship and then be able to guide them. It's not on a specific task, right? Why would we want a coach instead of always a mentor? We need, we need both. We need both because a coach specifically is going to talk about specific tasks. So if I want to get better at my business plan, my mentor might know some stuff in that space, but I may hire a coach over a short period of time to really delve deep into that one space. If you think of it in terms of a mentor is more of a GP and a coach is more of a specialist. So when I can go to the GP, they're going to know lots about a lot of different things, and some of the things they'll be able to dig really deep into. But their focus is different. Their focus is on building relationship. If you want a business coach, you call Christine. Incredible business coach. Incredible business coach. Has forgotten more than most of us will ever know. So but that's the coach part, right? So you're coaching. They're teaching you a specific skill. So when I think about my basketball team or my guys, they have a coach to teach them how to, whether it's dribble or crossover or free throws or whatever it is, it's a specific skill. I'm there to teach them about their relationship, about their emotional quotient, how to have mastery control of their mind and their emotion. Because if without those two things together, all the practice they do on the skill is going to go for naught because they can't harness it properly because their brain's not there. Well, it's there, but you know what I'm saying, right? So that's how the two differ. Mentorship and coaching are two different things. We're gonna throw counseling into that when we come back from a break because there's another dynamic in the middle of there, right? Now, does that mean in a mentorship there's not some counseling and some coaching? Nope, they're all in there. I will tell you more about the women when we get back. But you know what? And thank you for that. But we want to be able to understand all these things are different moving parts, right? I have 4 mentors and coaches at the moment, and then a therapist on top of that. And it's not. I do it partly to be healthy, and partly because I need the specific skills in certain areas. But I also need mentorship. I also need somebody that's been ahead of me. I need somebody that's. I look old. Some days I feel like I'm way old. Somebody said you're only as old as you feel, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope that's not true, because some days I feel 300. But you know what? But I need somebody that has that wisdom, somebody that's been in the trench and may still be in the trench of where I want to go. Right? We've talked before. Not a travel agent that just points and goes, go there. I hear it's good. I want to be a travel guide. I need somebody that's a guide in front of me that will hold my hand and walk through that trench with me. That's been there before, knows where the pitfalls are, knows where the great places are to stop and see. So mentor as well as coach. We need both. We need both. I got to take a quick break here. I want to do a quick shout out. I need 2 quick shout outs. One is for Jose Escobar, founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy membership to take your business to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. The Connected Leaders Academy tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. Set up a virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today. He will be in Ontario and in Waterloo, actually, on Monday night if you want to see him live, if you happen to be local. And if you're not, he's flying in or driving in. There's people from all over the U.S. flying in for this. So, you know, if you can get a ticket and want to come, by all means, we're happy to have you. So that's Jose, and thank you to Jose. Escobar for being one of my founding partners, sponsor partners. I appreciate you. The other shout out I want to do real quick is I need to timestamp myself. Is a company called the Beard Struggle. People ask me all the time about my beard, and it's getting kind of long. It goes to my belly button if I pull it out, pull it down. But it takes special care. It takes special shampoo and conditioners and oil and balm and butter and combs and brushes and all this good stuff. So the two product I will show you here, and it's on sale today. It's Black Friday. All this stuff is on sale. There's a beard growth accelerator that's it's called Voxer. It's very, very good. I'd heard, hey, you know what? You put something on, it's going to do well, not do well. It's not going to work that way. I don't know. But when I used it, and you put it in places that you're patchy or places that you want it to be thicker, and you rub it in and rub it in and rub it in. It's got some peppermint in it, which is good for hair growth, stimulates hair growth. And then this microneedle derma roller is, I don't know if you can see that, but you put it on and you rub it and 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 rub it, and it puts little holes in and pushes that Voxer, that beard growth accelerator, into your face and thickens it up. And I thought, oh, I don't know if that's right or not. Trust me, in less than 2 months, it was thicker, and I have hair in places I didn't have hair before on my face. And it's amazing, much, much thicker. The smell of it is amazing. Their products are unbelievable. And it's a Canadian company. The Beard Struggle is out of Vancouver. There are lots of links. If I think about it and I can figure it out, I'll post the link. But if you search the Beard Struggle, they're all Vikings, and it's amazing product. It's such an amazing, and it's an amazing company. Right now they're doing Movember, not Mo Mondays, Movember. Because that's a guy's thing. Mental awareness and suicide prevention, all these, they're very community minded. And so it's an amazing company. It really is. So I really, really want to do a big shout out to them. Thank you so much for them providing their product. I'd love to have them as a sponsor. Would love to have them as a sponsor. I think that's a no brainer when my show is called The Long Bearded Guy. Their company's called The Beard Struggle, which is what we're all doing. It's right to the heart of what we're talking about. And I'm their avatar, right? No disrespect to any of the bearded women on the planet, but their avatar looks like me. And so, you know what? I would love to have them be sponsors for the show. So anyway, but we need to take a quick break. Don't forget to pause and breathe. Pause and breathe so that you ground yourself. Pause and breathe. I have my special mug, and I've got Boost in here today. Is Berry Boost today? Is my herbal tea. We need to take just a quick break. Pause, breathe, have some of your beverage that you got handy, and I will see you right back. You're with the Long Bearded Guy. That's me, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. I'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the Long-Bearded Guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You're with the Long-Bearded Guy, Gordon D. Melville on Inspired Choices Network. LS, I sent you, Mrs. Kirkpatrick, I sent you a link. I also sent it to my producer. I'm hoping they can figure out how to get that in the chat. I'm not sure how, but I'm hoping they can. So we're talking today about, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Sarah. Mentorship for Success, Compassion for Life. Mentorship for Success, Compassion for Life. People don't care how much we know till we know how much they don't care how much we know till they know how much we care. That's EQ. That's emotional quotient. But why do we want, and we talk, what's the difference between mentorship and coaching? Coaching is short-term, specific to a task. Mentorship is relationship-based and is in a much broader sense, in a much bigger space on our life. So who then are we looking for as a mentor? When should we be looking? Why are we looking? That kind of a concept. Who are we looking for? If we understand that anybody, and I want to make this abundantly clear, anybody can teach us. Agree? Anybody can be a mentor. Anybody can be a coach. We can learn from I learn from my kids all the time. I learned from the women in the Box Inside Out group. You can learn from children. You can learn from, everybody can teach you something. And sometimes it's like cautionary tale, like what happens. I'm a walking billboard for what happens when we don't do self-care. You can learn from me. Look after yourself first. Not instead of, but so that you can. It's selfish not to look after yourself first. But that's something you can learn from me on that's a negative side, right? What not to do. Some of our lives are a cautionary tale. And sometimes you'll see somebody and you go, wow, look at what they're doing. I want to be like that person. I want to do those same types of things. I want to grow like that. I want to expand myself like that. Because once I expand, number one, I can't go backwards, right? Once the mind is expanded, it can't go back. And once I expand it like that, I continue to grow intentionally, continue to grow, continue to grow, continue to grow. Sorry, I'm a little bit animated with my hands today, getting in the way of the camera. So who are we looking for a mentor? You want somebody that has experience, not just specific skill. That's coach. A mentor is usually a little bit older, usually a little bit wiser, usually has life experience that's ahead of where we are. Again, specific, but and like I say, it's usually over a longer period of time. So you're looking to build relationship with that mentor. Now, does that mean it doesn't cost? No, that's not what it means. That's still going to cost. There's still to grow and to have mentors. Some mentors you're going to find don't charge you anything, and that's great. Incredible. There's other ways to pay back and to pay forward. A lot of mentors go, well, I'll give this information to you, but you need to pay that forward. So everybody's reaching down to help somebody come up from behind them, right? They're reaching down, lift somebody up. And so someone gives us a lead up, a leg up, and helps. Then we turn around and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to help somebody behind me. I'm going to bring somebody else along. That's how I'm going to pay them, my mentor ahead of me. Sometimes it's going to cost dollars and cents, and that they have to get paid. That's absolutely the way it works. Some of them will require that. Some of them want money, and they're looking for you to pay it forward. But we need to make sure we have somebody that's ahead of us. And you know what? We're all on the same journey. So it doesn't have to be somebody older than us necessarily, although a lot of times age gives us more experience, right? So I can talk to people that, in terms of relationship, I've been married to the same wonderful, long-suffering, amazing. My mom always tells her she's going to have special jewels in her crown because of having to deal with me for the 31 years so far it's been. She's incredible. But that's 31 years, 31 years of experience. So somebody that's a newlywed may look at me and go, hey, can you be a mentor? That's part of the reason we wrote that book, Your Relationship Roadmap. Why? Because it gave you tips, it gives you ideas. What are some things that you've experienced, maybe the hard way, maybe the good way, maybe you didn't have to struggle? The point is, what are tips you can give that can help somebody avoid some of the pitfalls? Or even more, there's things that we all look back and go, crap, you know what? I wish I knew that when I was younger. I wish I knew that 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago even. A mentor can help us with that. So that's what we're looking for in terms of a mentor. When you can look for a mentor anytime. If you're looking to intentionally grow, you're ready for a mentor. Does that mean you don't have coach? Nope, you probably have coaches as well. But a mentor that will come alongside and share some of their experience, share their stories, share some of themselves with you. And then why? How come? Why would we want a mentor that will do that for us? Why would we search that out? Not just organically let it happen. We want that. Why do we want it? We want it if we want to intentionally grow. I ask all the time, and you all have heard me say that. Did you use the best mind that you have to get where you are? Yes. Great. Are you where you want to be? Well, no. Great. So then you need to do something different. We need to do something different. And having a mentor will help with that. Having coach will help with that because it'll infuse some stuff into you and give you some different things. The other thing is both meant for more for mentors than coach, but coaches as well. A lot of us, I've got blind spots. I don't know everything about everything. Matter of fact, the more I read and the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. I need to have a mentor and coaches to show me what my blind spots are, to have some objectivity about my life. You need to have that. Coaching in steps. Coaching typically is contracting, assessment, feedback, action plan, active learning. So exercises and activities to help practice and then review. There's lots of methods for coaching. The one I pulled up that I'm most familiar with is something called GROW method. So GROW, goal, current reality is the R, opinions or obstacles is the O, and then will or way forward is the W. Will or way forward is the W. So there's many methods like that. But it's learning a specific skill. It's a capacity development process with an expert is coaching. Time-bound, well-planned. Mentoring is human development activity, career, can be proactive, but it's the epitome of EQ, which is why we talk about it. It's relationship-driven. It's all around the development of the mentee. And then when we talk about counseling, I said I would throw that in. Counseling looks backwards. So coaching and mentoring typically looks to your future. Counseling goes backwards. Counseling, when you talk to a counselor or a therapist, you're a patient of that person. It's clinical. The onus is on the counselor or the therapist to make the change in the patient. But in a coaching and mentorship situation, it's future looking, first of all, and you're a client if you're talking to them. You're not a patient. And the onus is on the client to make the change in themselves. So as a coach or as a mentor, I can lead the horse to water, but I can't put a bathing suit on them. Right? They have to do that for themselves. I can lay it out. The coach isn't the one that runs out onto the floor, onto the field, or onto the ice. The coach isn't the one that does that. They drop the play and they give it to the athletes, and the athletes go out and execute. Same idea. In coaching and mentorship, they will lay out the plan, but then it's up to the client to execute that. And if it works, it's because the client made it work. When I was on the road with Grant Cardone, we used to look at some of these people when we were doing in-house training and go, hey, if this works, I'll only take 10% of the credit. I laid it out, but 90% of it is you. The opposite of that is also true. If it doesn't work, I'll only take 10% of the blame, because 90% of it was you. You didn't do what you were supposed to do, or you didn't do the way it was laid out, or it got messed up somehow, or lost in translation, or whatever. The point is, they're two completely different deals. Clinical and not. Counseling looks back. Some forms of coaching and all mentorship is sensitive information. So there's a confidentiality between the client and the mentee, coach and the mentor. Same with the counselor. Counselor, therapist, it's confidential, right? Anything you share in their space, they don't share with anybody else. But a really good mentor and a coach, lots of times that's, again, sensitive information. Good ones will not. They may share it sanitized, no names, no way to figure out who they're talking about, as an illustration to help other people. But again, it's still sensitive. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes we conflate, coach, mentor, therapist, counselor, we conflate them. All right, I got to take another quick break. I'm a little bit late to do it, but the shout out this time again is for Jose Escobar, as the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out that Entrepreneur's Bookshelf to learn more about his morning and evening routine mastery program that is changing people's lives. And it's Black Friday, so he's got some sales on, some really good deals. One in particular for that particular program is, I think it's 50% off. It's unbelievable good price. And again, it's an investment in yourself, right? This program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Set up your free strategy session with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him again at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. That if you're not, again, I say it all the time, but if you're not doing some kind of a routine end of day, morning and evening, you're not maximizing your day. There needs to be a routine. There needs to be a, hey, do, right? Over and over and over and over. That repetition, that consistent, persistent routine is how we get forward movement. It may be incremental, it may be small, but incremental is still forward movement. And we're grateful for that. So, by the way, while I'm thinking about that, I need to run a break here. While I'm thinking about that, for our American friends, anybody that's listening from the US, happy Thanksgiving weekend. It was yesterday, but happy Thanksgiving to you all. We got so much to be thankful for in the Western Hemisphere at the moment. There's so many things we just have so much to be thankful for. We really do. So huge happy Thanksgiving to you all. Don't forget to pause and breathe. Have some more of your herbal tea or whatever it is that you're drinking. And we'll see you right back just after this. We're going to talk about mentorship being pure emotional quotient when we come back. So don't go anywhere. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. See you in a minute.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
The Connected Leaders Academy is the #1 fastest growing networking community for entrepreneurs. CLA assembles high-level leaders, titans of industry, and business owners under one roof. If you're an entrepreneur looking to grow personally, professionally, scale your influence, develop skills, and expand your network exponentially, the CLA is where you need to be. Want on to more podcasts and shows, speak on more stages, sell more books, products, and services, get more leads, referrals, acquire new clients, develop lifelong friendships, and more. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. Contact Jose Escobar on Facebook or check out www.claglobalsummit.com for more information.
This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Just making sure I'm keeping up with what's going on here. I want to you're with the Long-Bearded Guy, Gordon D. Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. And today we're talking about mentorship for success, compassion for life, because they're hooked together. Mentorship is relational. Compassion is what? Compassion comes out of our EQ. Definition of compassion. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Sympathetic pity or concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. Or EQ, emotional quotient. Or it is a social feeling that motivates people to go out of their way intentionally because they care and value the other person. It's not out of their way. It's not an inconvenience. They're doing it because they care and love that person. But to relieve the physical, mental, or emotional pain of some others, as well as themselves. They're giving themselves grace. They're giving the other person grace. They're sharing that grace. And we need to be able to do that for ourselves too. We need to be able to give ourselves the grace we so freely give to other people. So mentorship is pure emotional quotient because it's relational. I can't have a relationship if I don't plug into how I'm feeling, how my emotions are working, how my EQ is. I can't have, how do I have a relationship? Part of the reason House and Sheldon had trouble was because they weren't plugged into that. They didn't have an awareness around what they just said was ignorant and hurtful. They didn't get it. It's an awareness. Mentorship is relational. So then it becomes interactions with others at home and work and other places are communication. How do we talk to somebody else? How do we interact with them? Can we read a room? Can we read the person we're talking to a little bit? If you're not sure, you need to reach out. I can connect you to a couple of people that can absolutely give you some really good tools to be able to put in your toolbox to be able to help you understand and read people. Read the person talk. There's micro expressions and expression and body language and all this stuff, not just the words they say or the tone. The words they say make up very little of the total conversation. The tone makes up a much bigger piece of the conversation. And then body language, if you're face to face or could see the person, body language is the biggest piece. I've heard numbers as high as 50 and 60% of a communication live face to face is body language. Well, if you can't read body language, if you have no awareness around that kind of a concept, you're going to suck at communication and you're not going to know why. Guys typically will not identify it that way. We always see my wife bitches at me because I don't listen. I'm not paying attention. Or we go to family stuff and it just blows up. Or I was at a date last night and she didn't call me today. I don't know what I said that was wrong. Maybe it's not something we said. They say guys are really good to talk to and they're good listeners. Why? Because most of them are not paying attention. Most of them weren't listening anyway. They didn't hear what you said. It's kind of the running joke. But if I really care about the person I'm talking to or listening to, I'm not listening to find an opening so I can share what I want to say that's related to whatever they're talking about, hopefully. Trying to get in, and some of you have been on virtual copies with me, and I outright say, we all have stuff going on in our lives. We have good and bad. We got drama. We got all these things happening in our lives. We got plans for the rest of the day. There's stuff going on. We got things we're anxious about and things we're thinking about and finances and relationships and whatever. There's stuff. But when I'm right here, right now, there's nothing in the world for me right this second except you guys. I'm dialed in right there. When I get on with the virtual coffee, when I'm having live coffee, when I sit and have coffee or dinner with my wife, we're not on our phone. I'm looking into her eyes. We're talking. We're interacting together. Why? Because I give a shit about her. I care deeply. If I really care about the person I'm talking to, we need to be able to listen. But the only way that happens is if we value it and we show some intention to having the tools we need in the way that we communicate, not just with the words we're using. If you saw Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg, the very first one, at the end of the movie, she's in. If you don't know the concept of that movie, she's hiding from the mob, and so they put her into a convent, and so she's in a nun's habit, right? She's in that kind of a thing, and the mother superior is there, and the other nuns are there, and when they capture her old boyfriend, he's like, "I was so good to you. This is how you treat me. This is crap." And she looks at him and says, "Bless you." The words were correct for the habit. The tone and the look on her face and her body language had a completely different meaning. And we have to be cognizant of that. We have to pay attention. What is the body language? Are we watching? Women will tell you way more with their eyes than they ever do with their mouth, if you pay attention. Reading a room, do you pay attention? What are they saying in their eyes? With their eyes, what are they saying with their emotion? What are they saying with their micro expression? What are they saying with their body language or their tone? Do we pay attention to that? I would submit to you, we should be paying attention to that. You want to really deeply connect and talk to somebody, you need to be able to plug into that. But we need, and that's a great segue, we need those tools. If you want more tools, and I'm finding adding tools to our toolbox, male or female, doesn't matter what your gender is, adding tools to the tool belt, we have to do when we think we're okay. It's like buying insurance, right? We have to buy insurance when we're healthy, because when we're not healthy and need it, we don't qualify anymore. Same thing with emotional intelligence, same thing with EQ, and it's not really an intelligence, but our EQ, counselor is clinical. Counselor and therapist are clinical. So if you're talking to a counselor, you're a patient. That's completely different than either one, mentorship or counseling, or mentorship or coaching. Completely different. Great question. Well, reading the room, we all need to know how to read a room. And thank you for the question, Mrs. Kirkpatrick. I appreciate that. We all need to be able to read the room, because we all open our mouth and say silly stuff all the time that had nothing to do with what it should have. If we read the room properly, we would know, hey, you know what? I can't use that tone here. Hey, you know what? I can't use those words here. I have to modify or pivot myself because that won't go over in this room, right? So we all need to have that kind of awareness around it. But if this is resonating with you, to put the tools in the tool belt, I teach tools and strategies to my avatars are entrepreneurial men and pro athletes, but clearly there's been a connection for women. So I probably will do another, at least one more cohort for Box Inside Out for women, probably starting in December. So or maybe in January, but it's Black Friday. So there's some really good deals today. DM me, reach out, and I will share those with you. Whether it's Box Inside Out, men or women, we need the tools. You can't just have one or two different tools. We need dozens and dozens and dozens of tools to be able to plug in. Why? Because what works for me may not work for my three sons. What works for me this time may not work for me next time. I need to have multiple ways to deal with stuff. And so I teach 7 levels of emotional intelligence for men, but I also am teaching a similar type thing. And what I'm learning from the women in this group is that a lot of us have the same base, whether it doesn't matter gender, we seem to have the same kind of base challenges. We just get to them differently. So for instance, our worth, women lack worth sometimes, right? Society says, hey, if you're not using this kind of makeup and you're wearing this kind of brand and you look this way and blah, 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 then you're less than somehow. You're not enough. And so they struggle with their worth and their value. Guys get to the same space of lack of worth and value for a completely different reason. Excuse me, I got hiccups. So I've got boxed inside out programs, both male and female. I've got a 4-hour half day. If you want to look back and you want to look forward, you want to make sure you slam home your goals for 2023. Make sure you hit the wall and keep running. Run through that wall. Don't stop at whatever the goal is for 2023 and analyze that. That part's called milestones, so things we've achieved. And then going into 2024 to be able to set it up properly, that's an in-depth 4-hour piece where we spend a time one-on-one and we'll go through what are the challenges. We'll look and analyze and we'll look forward. We'll make sure that you're set to jump into 2024. But that's a huge, big piece. And then, of course, I've got one-on-one mentorship. Mentorship is available as well. So wherever you plug in, wherever you want to plug in, DM me, direct message, private message me, and go, Gord, I need help. Please help me with this. If you know somebody that seems like they're good, but you know what? We all need to increase, right? My guy friends tell me, Gord, this is critical that you're working with men and you're doing these. It's critical that you're doing it. It's very important. They look at me and go, I'm okay, but I know some people that need this. And I'm like, bullshit. We all need it. We got to do it when we're healthy, when we think everything is good, because when we get into a bad situation and we're struggling, it's very, very, very difficult to deal with whatever that problem is, that struggle is. And at the same time, source and find and learn or plug into the tools and strategies that we need. We have to do it when we're healthy. So please, please reach out to me. Please. And again, today we got Black Friday today and Cyber Monday on Monday. Well, you let me know what works best for you. I'm here to help. I'm here to plug in. If you know someone that needs help, please plug me into them. DM me and introduce us, please. As we go for another quick break here, time just goes so quick. As we go for another quick break, don't forget to pause and breathe. And I will see you when we come back. We're going to do a quick wrap and a call to action, and then we'll talk about next week. And then the hour is over already. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We got a good call to action today that will be helpful, I believe. You're with the long-bearded guy. That's me, Gordon D. Melville on Inspired Choices Network. Talk to you in just a minute. Don't go anywhere.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Yes, you can connect with me. Don't forget the word the longbeardedguy@gmail.com anytime. Any social media platform you go to, the Long Bearded Guy, you'll find me. And obviously you can find me on Inspired Choices Network, on our free app. You can find me at inspiredchoicesnetwork.tv. You can watch any of the TV 60 plus episodes. You can watch them all. So we're talking today about mentorship for success and compassion for life. I learned a ton doing prep for this one. It's an emotional quotient tie-in. It really is. And so we've learned a bunch of different definitions. We've learned what the difference between coaching, mentorship, counseling, therapy, they're all different, right? Now, do they conflate? Yes, there's bits and pieces of all those different things in each one, right? But to be able to go, hey, you know what? This one has a specialty for this. I want coach to learn specific skills. I want a mentor for long-term career stuff and to get along in life, to life skill stuff. That's going to pull it all together. I might need a therapist. I may need a counselor to work through specific things that come up. If I'm being triggered or there's trauma or any of those types of things that needs clinical. Probably need clinical. Right? But to plug in, and they're not good or bad. None of them are good or bad. All of them are needed. They're all critical parts of our personal development, of our personal care. So, you know what? We need to plug into them all. We need to need to know the difference in them, but we need to plug into them all. Thank you so much for being with me today. As we come to, and again, please reach out. Please reach out. If you're struggling or you're having troubles, please reach out. DM me, private message me, send me an email. Gord, I need help. If you agree with me on any of this stuff, Gord, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you disagree, tell me I'm full of shit. I'm okay. I can deal with it. I'm a big boy. I can handle that. Engage with me. Engage with me. Makes you angry? Great. Why? It means you still give a shit. You have an emotional, anger is an emotional response. That means you still care. They're still intentional there. And I want to foster that. We'll work through it. Next week, unbelievably, it's December 1st. Next Friday is December 1st. If you happen to be in Canada, we've got snow coming this weekend, 3 to 5 centimeters of snow. It's cold out there today. So now it's not as cold as it will get, and I'm still in shorts and sandals, so not to worry. But you know what? Friday, December 1st at noon, we're going to talk about lead with love, achieve with heart. Lead with love, achieve with heart. We tend to lead with judgment. We tend to lead in a way that's not conducive to helping ourselves or anybody else. We need to lead with love. We're here to love, not to judge. The world would be a better place. It could be a completely different environment if we could lead with love. Be courageous this week. It doesn't mean you're not afraid. Doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you're afraid and you're doing it anyway. It means you have the gumption, the intestinal fortitude to push forward because it's intentional. Be courageous this week. Be unapologetically you. Everybody wants to be unique. You're unique. Nobody else can be you. That's unique. Embrace that. Embrace you. You don't need anybody else's validation or approval or even for them to understand it. You've heard me say that over and over and over. Be unapologetically you. Unabashedly you. Stand in that. Make it another great week. You have the power to do that. You've been gifted the power to do that. Live out you abundantly and with intention. I love you. Massive, massive hugs. Reach out if you need to. I'm here. I would love to hear from you. Please DM or private message me if any of this stuff makes sense or you want to plug into a program, especially today with Black Friday.
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D. Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you were created for. Big hugs.